You're watching this video because you just relapsed on NoFap. Now, here's the thing about relapsing on NoFap. Relapsing on NoFap is the result. It is the byproduct of a mindset. And even more specifically, a self-perception. The way that you perceive yourself was simply reflected. It was projected through your actions. Hence, you relapsing on NoFap. Now, if you really pay attention to the grand scheme of your life, to the big picture of your life, you'll probably see that pattern presenting itself in various different aspects of your life. For example, you might find that you self-sabotage in relationships. You might find it very difficult to progress past a certain point in your dating life because you self-sabotage because of your weak self-perception. The same applies to your purpose. You may find that it's difficult for you to progress in your purpose and to make the necessary moves that you need to make, to take the leaps of faith that you need to take in order to progress on your divinely ordained purpose. Because you have a low self-perception and you don't believe that you're worthy of acquiring everything that you see up here. Therein lies the problem. You don't believe that you're worthy of being on NoFap. You are creating a contingency for your own self-worth. This is one of the most prevalent issues that I've noticed in all of my live coaching sessions. I've realized that a lot of people, the reason why they struggle in their lives in any aspect, be it relationships, purpose, NoFap, or anything else in between, is because they create contingencies, arbitrary contingencies for their self-worth. The irony is that when you remove the contingencies and you allow yourself to feel worthy in the here and now, all of the other things happen naturally. This is how I got to a year plus on NoFap. This is why I still consider myself to be on 2+ years of NoFap, despite having relapsed in the recent past. Is because I've forgiven myself for those relapses. I don't hold them against myself. Did I initially? Yes. And that's how I ended up binging on that vice. But what I realized is that I need to take my own advice. You have to forgive yourself if you want to do NoFap. You have to forgive yourself if you want to be in a relationship. You have to forgive yourself if you want to follow your purpose. A lot of you guys struggle with NoFap because you don't have a sense of purpose. You lack a sense of purpose, a sense of clarity, because you don't forgive yourself. Therefore, your self-perception doesn't align with the vision of yourself and your life that you've created in your mind, or rather that you've received, because your purpose comes from a place beyond you. What you have to understand is that until you forgive yourself, you will remain imprisoned, you will remain shackled by the guilt of the actions that are no longer in alignment with who you are right now. You are allowing the past to create your future for you, instead of allowing the clean slate of the present moment to be the foundation, to serve as the foundation for the life that you wish to create, for the life that you know is meant for you deep down. Now, I always talk about self-forgiveness, and I always talk about how self-forgiveness enables you to alter your self-perception and get into alignment with that new version of you, the version of you that you need to become in order to successfully implement NoFap as a part of your lifestyle. But how exactly do you forgive yourself? You forgive yourself by not resisting the present moment. When you resist the present moment, you either have one of two options to look to. You can either look to your future or you can look to your past. The future, in this case, would be the contingencies that you create for your self-worth. It's the mirage in the desert of your lack of self-love. It's you saying, when I get to 30 days on NoFap, I'm going to love myself. And then you getting to 30 days only to find that the love is no longer there and that it's waiting for you at 60 days. And then you get to 60 days and you find the same thing to be true, and so on and so forth. That's why it's a mirage, because it's not real. It's not real. It's a contingency that you've created in your mind for your own self-love, something that's your birthright. Alternatively, you can look to the past. The past would be the actions that you've taken. It's the resentment that you hold and harbor toward yourself for the actions that you've taken that no longer align with who you are right now. There's a reason why you feel so guilty about relapsing. It's because you know that that doesn't align with who you are in the present moment. deep down, you know that in the present moment, you are a new version of yourself. Let that sink in. Right now, in this present moment, you are a brand new version of yourself. You are not the version of yourself that relapsed, unless you decide to be, by focusing all of your energy and attention on that version of you. So if you have to stop looking to the future and you have to stop looking to the past in order to find the self-forgiveness, where does that leave you? That leaves you in the present moment. The present moment is where the forgiveness is. Your natural state of being is present moment awareness, and by extension, self-forgiveness. When you're in the present moment, you forgive yourself naturally because that's our natural state of being in this life, no matter what level you look at it at. Whether it be the spiritual level, the physical level, the emotional level, or anything else in between. Self-forgiveness is your natural default state of being. The only reason why you're struggling with it is because you're resisting it by resisting the present moment. So right now, all of the guilt that you feel, all of the resentment that you feel toward yourself, and by extension, all of the contingencies that you're creating in order to perpetuate the self-perception that you've created about yourself and about how weak you think you are. I want you to take a moment to fully embody that feeling. Instead of trying to crowd the feeling out, expand and make room for the feeling. Self-forgiveness is not about resisting the feeling. It's not about running from the feeling of guilt. It's about first acknowledging the feeling of guilt, accepting the feeling of guilt, loving the feeling of guilt, and alchemizing the feeling of guilt. You see, when you're at your worst, when you're at your lowest point, that is the perfect opportunity for you to love yourself unconditionally. It's the perfect opportunity to expand into more of yourself. Something that I realized recently, and this was something that I struggled with for a while, is that a lot of people, they struggle to forgive themselves because they feel like self-forgiveness and accountability are mutually exclusive. They think that if they forgive themselves for the sins of their past, for the actions that they've taken that no longer align with who they are, that they are then enabling those actions to take place again. It's actually the opposite. It is you not forgiving yourself that enables those actions, not only enables, but perpetuates, reinforces the foundation on which those actions occur. In other words, in order to forgive yourself, you must first take accountability. You feel guilty right now. Take accountability for that. If you can't take accountability and forgive yourself for relapsing on NoFap or for doing whatever else that you feel guilty about in your life, because like I said, when you have these patterns, they present themselves typically in every aspect of your life, subconsciously. If you can't forgive yourself for the thing that you did, start by forgiving yourself for the way that you feel. You feel guilty right now. You feel ashamed of yourself. Forgive yourself for feeling that way. Stop resisting that feeling, because when you resist that feeling, you suppress it. You're trying to push it out by essentially taking the ground from under it, by contracting. Okay, you're trying to contract in order to force the feeling out, but all you're doing is making the feeling grow relative to the space that you give it. You're making the feeling grow relative to the space that you're giving it, that you're allocating to it. So in other words, you need to expand. You need to expand if you want to diminish the feeling. The feeling is what it is. Resisting it, all that's going to do is make it stronger relative to your self-perception. You need to expand in order to, like I said, alchemize the feeling. This is an opportunity for you to shift the momentum, to shift the trajectory of your life by loving the parts of yourself that you don't like. By loving the parts of yourself that you don't like, you free yourself from the shackles of the self-perception that has held you hostage where you are, or better yet, where you've been. Because right now, where you are in this present moment, this is a clean slate for you. You're not on day 0 of NoFap, because NoFap is a lifestyle. We don't count the days. NoFap is a lifestyle. You live it. It's a byproduct of who you are, of how you see yourself. But in order to turn it into a lifestyle, in order to receive that understanding fully and apply it, You have to forgive yourself. You have to let go of the past that no longer serves you, and you have to diminish the contingencies that you've created for your own self-worth. Focus all of your attention and energy in the present moment. And when you do that, what you'll find is that suddenly you'll look up and you'll be on 90 days of NoFap without even realizing it, because it's your natural state of being. It aligns with who you are.